Well, good evening, Facebook. How are you all doing tonight? Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday to you out there in Facebook land. I am your host, Dr. M. Watson, and I'm coming to you live tonight, Unmasking Love. Come on in. Let's have some healthy conversation here surrounding unmasking love. And what we're going to talk about tonight is unrealistic expectations. Whoa! Unrealistic expectations. So come on in. I tell you, it is such a joy tonight to come on and as we get ready to share. And I know you probably saying, I don't see anybody but you. Listen, got another surprise for you again tonight. It was so nice last week. Guess what? I decided to do it twice. Yes, yes, yes. Dr. Brenda Wilson is going to be here again with me tonight, and we're going to be talking about unrealistic expectations. So call your girlfriend, call your homeboy, email them, text them, just shout out to them and let them know that, hey, they're on talking about unrealistic expectations tonight. And that just might be something you want to get in on. So, again, welcome, Facebook. All of you out there, thank you for liking and sharing. And we're not going to prolong the time. We're going to get started. I'm going to bring Dr. Brenda Wilson in, and we're going to get this party started tonight. All right. Hello, Dr. Brenda. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing excellent. Listen, I told them I could have been a DJ if I wanted to. I told them it was so nice, I decided to do it twice.
That sounds good.
Bring the same guest back again. And we're going to be talking tonight about unmasking love, but we're going to unpack unrealistic expectations. That's what I want us to talk about tonight.
Yes.
So hopefully, some more will come on in and join us, and we thank you for that. And thank those of you who will watch the replay, and hopefully, you will hear something that kind of really captures your attention and cause you to think a little bit. Have I ever had that kind of realistic expectation? Did someone ever have an unrealistic expectation of me?
Yeah.
So that pendulum swings both ways. And if we be honest with ourselves, we have to look at it from both angles, both directions. Yes. So again, come on in, Facebook. Let's get this party started tonight. Well, Dr. Wilson, you don't know, but I've been thinking. I'm a thinker.
Yes.
So I want to say that I want to choose you to be my co-host emeritus. And anytime you feel like you want to be co-host and come on, whether I have someone on or not, just let me know. And if you want to be up, and yes, I would like to tag you with that. So
All right.
how about that?
Thank you. I relish the idea.
All right. That's awesome. So what we want to do, like I said, as we wait for others to come in, want to just give a brief definition of unreal. Well, nope. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So he's so awesome. First, I want to say thank all of you for the awesome, amazing birthday shout outs for Dr. Wilson. Her birthday was Monday, and she turned, elegant 81. And wow, she's just been enjoying it. So I'm going to pause and let her greet you all tonight before we get started. Dr.
Well,
Wilson.
thank you so much. I enjoyed all the comments. It was so nice to hear happy birthday on my 81st birthday. And I'm still celebrating, however. And I will be celebrating tomorrow night. I'm going to be going down to the art museum for the string concert, Candlelight Strings.
What?
Yes, to hear music from Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra. And
Wow.
with that, I'll be going to the Brazilian steakhouse for dinner.
Well, how about that?
And I won't be going alone.
Whoa! Listen, y'all. She don't play the radio. She is in life and I'm loving it. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yes, indeed. You know how folks say when I grow up, I want to be like you. There are some things that definitely, when I grow up, 81, I want to be going out to concerts and I want to be going to the Brazilian steakhouse for dinner. Even if I don't eat steak, I still want to go there. There'll be something on the menu that I can eat. How about
Oh, yes. Well, I don't eat steak either, but I'm going for the salmon and the lamb.
Okay, awesome. Wow, wonderful. Listen, it's all about enjoying the journey
It is.
at every stage, at every season. Enjoying the
Absolutely.
journey. And that's wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to take my glasses off because most of you know I just use them for distance. And we'll get started tonight. Hopefully, some others will come on in and join us. And I see Overseer Pastor Billy Hall in tonight. And yeah, some other people have joined us. I think I see Apostle Lynette. Hey, welcome, welcome, Deidre Smalls. See some people all the way up there in the Maryland, D.C. area. Welcome. Good to see you all tonight. I was able to get my birthday girl back on with me again tonight. And that's an honor. And we're going to be talking about unrealistic expectations tonight. How about that? So I know everyone has something to say about unrealistic expectations. Welcome, Miss Bobby Greenwood. Good to see you. I believe Miss Greenwood is 90. What? Listen, come on with it. Wow. Y'all, listen, I got to get to stepping so I can step like you sisters. And I mean, every time you go out, I mean, you just look just gorgeous and just wow. So wonderful. Good to see you, Dr. Noreen Davis, tonight. Listen, ain't no telling what city she in. She just got back from Jamaica. She might still be in Jamaica. Hallelujah. I ain't mad at her. She's just enjoying retirement and traveling. And I pray that we'll get us another trip together real soon as well. So, welcome tonight. Again, we're going to be talking about unrealistic expectations. So, you all chime in. If you have some questions or if you have some expectations and you're not sure if they're unrealistic, um, let's chime in. Let's talk about that. So, I just want to give a brief definition of unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations are expectations that are unlikely or impossible to achieve. How about that? And the way I say it, it might seem like it's a real or a good expectation for me. But if someone else don't think it's something that they can achieve or they're not willing to do, it's unrealistic to them, right? So, unrealistic expectations are expectations that are unlikely or impossible to achieve. They can be set for ourselves or others and can affect many areas of our life, including relationships, careers, and appearances. Okay? So, listen, that's what we're going to talk about tonight, unrealistic expectations. And sometimes they can come as a result of social pressures, comparisons. Isn't that something? Idealized notions, sometimes just feeling stressed and upset with things, when they don't go as planned, the way we expected them to turn out, or the
Mhm.
way we expected someone to treat us, or the way we expected someone expected us to treat them. Okay? So chime in a little bit, Dr. Wilson, on unrealistic expectations. Good to see you, Rita Bill and Cheryl Hill tonight. Welcome, welcome. What do you want to talk about? Just launch and say a few things about unrealistic expectations tonight.
Well, I think the most unrealistic expectation is the one that's unexpressed. You're
Okay.
in a relationship with someone, you expect them to do certain things, but you don't ever talk about it, and they have never agreed to do it. But you expect them to do it because they're in relationship with you. For me, that's a really unrealistic expectation.
And she just had a home run. I think that was on my second page. You see how things just work together when there's wisdom in the room. Awesome, awesome. What else could be an unrealistic expectation?
Well, we expect people to know us just because they like us. I hear women all the time say, if he loves me or if she loves me, she ought to know what I want. That's just dumb. Nobody can know what's on your heart and what's on your mind unless you reveal it.
I promise you, read my notes and you have not seen them.
No, I have not.
Oh, how about that? But that's wisdom speaking. So, you all want to chime in and put some realistic expectations in the comments here. You just said it, Dr. Wilson. He or she loves me. They should know what I need just
Yeah,
because they love me.
yes.
You see,
And
that's an
and when we
unrealistic expectation.
and then we have emotional reactions when we're disappointed, and the other person doesn't have a clue why we're upset or why we're having a reaction to them because we haven't discussed it. I'm thinking that in a relationship for two mature people, they need to sit down and have a conversation about what they expect out of the relationship and what they expect of each other in in a variety of settings. We
Got it.
just sometimes we just go into it with our expectations and think that they should just fall in line, and that's dangerous.
That's it. And as I was working on a few little examples, the example that describes perhaps a situation when he or she loves me, they should just know what I need. Example would be one partner is upset about getting a birthday surprise. They didn't get a birthday surprise, but they never mentioned wanting one.
Yeah.
Okay. But they just expected their partner to just know. And that just led to complete disappointment
Yes.
because, we know that none of us are mind readers. We try to figure out things and think for who? Children, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I always say. I said relationships are for adults. You really got to be ready to start adulting, as I say.
Yes.
You know.
That's true.
Yes, yes. Another unrealistic expectation that I wrote down was a good relationship should always be easy and conflict free.
Mm,
Yes. Example would be uh, a couple who, the first
that's
little
not
courtship
the
has been
case.
going fine. Maybe they even got married and had never really had a heated discussion, or someone says, what do you call it? I can't, I won't say it now, but because I can't remember. But an example would be a couple face their first serious disagreement, and one person assumes it means that they are incompatible instead of seeing conflict as an opportunity for growth.
Okay.
The first little disagreement, okay, one of them think, now I thought we were compatible, but this just tells me we're not. We're just not compatible, perhaps. Does it mean you're incompatible? Or is it just an opportunity for you to see that you're unique individuals? You have your own mind. You think you were a thinking being before you got with the other person, right? And
Yes.
so conflict will arise. It's an opportunity for us to sit down and talk about that so that we can grow. It doesn't mean that we're incompatible. What you think? Come on, audience, help us out. What do you think about that? Do you think a relationship should always be easy and
That
conflict free?
uh,
Don't think so. Did you
hu-
freeze?
human beings are too human beings are too complex for us to assume that anything is going to be easy. We have to be willing to do what makes the relationship work. And if we're not willing to do it, we need to be honest about that and come to an agreement with our partner. about an alternative or compromise. Communication is just so important. It's the key to all of this.
And I believe that. I mean, I think you said it, in your intro. If we're willing to have a conversation, you see, and it doesn't mean that we're always going to agree on everything, but we learn that we can agree to disagree. Okay, I heard
Yeah,
you. I'm going to listen to you to try to understand what you're saying. And one of the things I like to stress when I'm working with individuals and couples, um, it's very important to listen, you know. And a lot of people, in my professional opinion, because I see this, they won't listen. They interrupt the person when they're trying to share with them. So the best way to have healthy communication is for me to listen to you without interrupting you and then give it back to you. So, okay, Dr. Wilson, so what you're saying is, and you can say, yes, that's what I said, or you can say, no, that's not what I said. You see, and
yeah,
that creates a
yes,
stream of healthy communication because you're listening to me to understand what I'm saying, not just listening to respond.
right.
Right.
And I
Okay.
find that we make the mistake of listening, but we're not listening. We're thinking of what our answer is going to be.
Right. Yep. That's what I mean. You're already thinking about what you're going to say. You can't wait till I
Mhm.
be quiet so you can just go ahead and, and say what you need to say. I see Overseer Hall says expectation is the mother of frustration. I
I
think
agree.
I agree. I agree fully. That's wisdom speaking again. I can't wait until I have her on as well. But that's
Mhm.
it. It's the mother of frustration, because you can expect anything you want, you see, but if you have not discussed that with the person that you're expecting it from or expecting it of, it's just something roaming around in your head. Wonderful, wonderful. Listen to this unrealistic expectation. What do you all think about this one? My partner should always make me feel happy.
Mm. Happiness is a choice, and nobody's responsible for my happiness or your happiness but you or me. But we have that unrealistic expectation of other people to feed into us and cause us to do the work that we need to be doing for ourselves.
Wow. So you just said it. You made $1 million statement. No one else can truly make you happy. I like to say they can add to it, you see,
Yes.
and
Yes.
enhance it a little bit, but yeah, they can't do it. So he says a good example is someone feels unfulfilled and blames their spouse, expecting them to provide constant excitement instead of finding happiness within themselves too. And I like to say, um, people who don't have a hobby, I'm not passing judgment, but I think every individual should have a hobby. You see?
And what makes you happy varies from individual to individual. And the individual decides what makes them happy. And if the other person doesn't know that, there's no way they can make it happen for them. But we need to take responsibility for what we choose to make us happy or sad. You made me mad. No, nobody can make you mad. They may have done something that irritated you, but you decided to get mad about
Okay. And see, it's those word choices,
it.
and
Mm-hmm.
then learning how to expand on the broader definition of the word and what it means to me, you see,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm such a word person. And I know that my definition for a word perhaps is not the same definition that my partner might have. And until we have a conversation about that, we won't know,
Yes.
right? Let's see here. I think Cheryl Hill says you could be expecting something that they are, you said it, unable to do for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's it. And you know, and some people might be able, and on the flip side of that coin, they're unwilling to do it for you.
Yes.
See, I told the class yesterday, I said, listen, there's somebody out there that holds an ace of spade for all of us. Oh, come on now. Listen, I keep it real. There's somebody out there that's got my number.
Yes.
You see, and somebody out there who, you know, I have his number. You know what I mean? There's
Yes.
some things that I might be willing to do with or for him that another guy, nope, it won't
Would not
happen. You see
do.
what I'm saying? And
Sure.
that's what happens so many times, y'all. I don't want to get off course, but listen, y'all don't have to tell nobody if you don't want to. One reason a lot of relationships are not making it, people are not who they really want to be with. At the
Yeah.
core, for real.
Yes. That's true too.
I have discovered that, you know, and it does become the mother of frustration, just like you said, Pastor Billy. She said, happiness is based on things always happening. Wow. Nobody feels like making stuff happens all the time. Get a life. I love it. I love it. Being selfish. That's it. You know, I got to create something. I've got to be the one to set the date for us to go places. I've got to choose the place we're going to eat. You know what I mean?
Yes. I hate it
Yeah,
when someone says, "Where do you want to go to eat?" and you say, "Oh, I don't care." Well, then
I
you should have
know.
just stayed at home.
Yes, yes. But that's it. I mean, listen, this is so powerful. This is so powerful. But if someone feels unfulfilled, I mean, you blaming the spouse, expecting them to provide constant excitement. I mean, we're created to be creators, right?
Absolutely.
So listen, all of us have got a little girl inside of us, and the men's got a little boy inside of them. They're just screaming to get out. Let me out. Let me do this. Let me experience this. Let me have this adventure. Let me go there. And so many people just suppress them. They just suppress them, you know? So, wow. Yes, indeed. Okay, come on, Apostle Horton, talk to us. Good to see you. I see Desmond Aris is with us tonight. Now, let me tell you, that young man right there, we're not going to change the subject, but you need to hear him. He's on fire for the Lord, and he's just listen. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome. So glad to have you tonight. And soon, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have an all men's panel coming up real soon. Real soon. Y'all stay tuned. We're going to be talking about some stuff. But tonight, we're talking about unrealistic expectations. So, come on, Reese, tell us about some unrealistic expectations that you think arise in relationships, whether they're courting or whether they're married. Go ahead and chime in tonight. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Um, here's Try this one on for size. If they really love me, they will change for me.
Mm.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I hear it all the time. And the only person we can change is us. And if we want someone to change, do we have enough skill to be able to cause that change without pain and for it to not interrupt the flow? But instead of that, usually if people don't do what we want to do and change like we think they should change, we're upset, um, and we cause confusion and explosive conflict. That's not
Wow.
good.
And the thing is, what I know for sure, if you need change in an area, and you're willing to do it for yourself, so well and good. But changing for someone else, that also causes frustration,
Mhm.
over a period of time. You see, because you didn't change because you had a desire to change. You were trying to change so that you could fit that person into your world or they could fit into your world, and that's never good.
No,
Okay.
no.
Uh, Okay, I see. She said, "You won't even change for you." Isn't that something? Because at the end of the day, you know what? We can't really change without the helper. We really can't.
Cannot. We cannot.
How many of us can quit anything that we really really enjoy and want to do? You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Without the helper, we can't quit, y'all. Now,
That's
I
true.
believe that. So you're exactly right, Osea Hall. You won't even change for you. How about that?
Yeah.
That's something. Wow. Um, what do you say? Cause change without pain. Okay, she was just quoting what you said.
Hmm.
Yeah, cause change without pain, and it will cause pain if you change
It
it for
will.
someone else. Because in the back of your mind, is you're going to be reminding yourself why you changed. You see, and then some people will verbalize it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I used to do so and so and so and so, but you didn't like that, so I changed. You
Yeah.
see, and that tells me you didn't change because you wanted to change. You tried to do it for me. You're right, Cheryl Hill. She says change is hard work. I tell
You-
people it's hard work, but guess what? It's necessary work. Because
Absolutely.
let's just talk about this for a minute, and you all tell me if I'm wrong. I believe each and every one of us have some things that we, I'm going to say, need to change, um, especially if we're planning to be in relationship with another individual.
Yes.
They are different for every person. And I say it like this: if you want to continue to do everything you're doing and don't have a desire to change anything, then I'm gonna say it in Ebonics, you may as well stay by yourself, right?
That's true.
But if you planning on having a partner or a husband and a wife, it's just something about that word spouse that never does it for me. I either say husband or wife, you know. It is necessary to make some adjustments, you know. Don't not be you, you see, to that degree, but there's some tweaking that we have to do
Yes.
in some of the things in our life, okay? Yes, it is necessary, Cheryl. So stop me, Dr. Wilson, when you feel like it. I just need to, I'm going to say this right here. He
Okay.
says, if they really love me, they will change. Example, one partner expects the other to stop certain habits. This is good. Playing video games
Oh.
or watching soap operas late at night when it's time to go to bed. She's done
Mhm.
recorded, or he have recorded the soap operas, you know, and
And they're gonna watch him at night.
but listen, they don't go to the den or the great room to watch the soap operas that's recorded. They come get into bed and then turn on the TV in the bedroom, and he or she trying to go to sleep, and the other one want to watch their soap operas until they fall asleep. You see,
Yes.
uh, one is playing video games. There are a lot of people now, young and older, that play video games a lot. Okay,
Yes.
working late. What about a husband or wife who brings their work home from work and doggone it, stay up till 11 or 12 o'clock working on work from work that you brought home? You see?
Well, I'm
But
thinking you need to talk about it and set up a schedule so you know what to expect. So, honey, if I'm spending 2 or 3 hours a night working and you are by yourself on the weekend or on Friday or on Saturdays and Sundays and Mondays or whenever, it's your time. We have a date night and I spend my time focused on you.
okay, okay.
So if
And
I have to do that to earn a living or make a living, I need to make some time for my spouse or for my husband so that he does not feel neglected. And we have an agreement. I had that in my marriage. My husband was a nurse, he was a director of nursing. So he worked, really, he was on call all the time. But we set up our date nights. And sometimes, because I was flexible, on our date nights, he'd get a call. And you know what I would do? I turned that into a date. I'd get in the car with him and we would ride out and go do what he had to do, then stop at a restaurant, get something to eat, and talk. So you can make
See,
anything work if you want to.
everybody ain't as savvy as you though. Some people pout about stuff like that. They don't have the skills, or they haven't developed the skills to be able to turn it into a positive.
It wasn't so much skill, it was desire.
Oh well, they haven't developed that desire, or they haven't reached way down in there and pulled that desire out yet.
Yes, yes.
So someone says, "Oh no, leave work at the office." That would be wonderful, but I'm telling you what I know. I know a lot of people, whether they bringing the work home for real or they just avoiding spending that time with the other
Hmm.
partner. I don't know. It could
Yeah.
be either or both. Sometimes.
Hmm.
Listen, I'm convinced a lot of the 5 o'clock traffic is folk who don't want to go home. They hate to go home. They just
Yeah,
stuck in traffic.
that's very true.
They don't enjoy going home. Let me see. Someone says when I get through with him, he's going to cut up. That's what I'm talking about. Go to sleep. That's it. Let's spend some time together and then talk about some things and go to sleep. But
Yes.
you said it. It's about creating healthy communication, expressing your likes, your desires. And then now let me listen to yours. You see,
Hmm.
and we put those things up on the middle of in the middle of the table, and we figure out, you know, how to. I say if I'm always giving, and I'm not talking about things and stuff, but if I'm always giving, he will never be in want. If he's always giving, I'll never be in want. You see? And
Hmm.
then when little hiccups come, because you are open to share and you've learned so much about each other, you're conscious of, man, I didn't do such and such, or I forgot to do such and such. You know what I mean? It
Hmm.
becomes a habit for real. You
Yeah,
see, I believe dating, as you go into your relationship, your marriage has to become a habit. And I don't mean boredom and ritualistic routine, but the
right.
habit of being in tune to what your partner needs, what your partner wants. You see, and if both of you do that, wow, it's a win-win. Okay.
It is.
Good to see. I see my cousin from Tennessee. Good to see you tonight, Kat. Yeah, that's it. Uh, oh, another cousin. Hey, Chris. Sometimes they do that as an escape goat. You're right. Bring work home as an escape
Yeah.
goat because
So I
they
don't
don't.
have to deal with you.
Yeah, but even in that, you can feel it, you can tell. I believe after a few times when a person is really pausing or not want to spend time with you or whatever, your light bulb will soon come on. If you're smarter than a fifth grader, it'll come on. Yeah. Good to see you, Bobby Benton. How you doing tonight? All right, we're just talking about unrealistic expectations. I know you can chime in on that. Help us understand some of this stuff. Um, Listen to this. My partner should never be attracted to anyone else.
Oh.
Right? And the example is a husband feels guilty for not noticing an attractive coworker. He feels guilty for noticing, I'm sorry, an
Hmm.
attractive coworker, even though he has no intention of acting on it. And his wife expects him to never look at another woman or never to compliment one.
Hmm.
What y'all think about that? I mean, the man ain't blind, just like we not blind. You know what I'm saying?
Men
So,
men are visual, and so they're gonna see because they're always looking. And what you have to do is have yourself so tight that he knows it doesn't compare to you.
okay then. All right then. And so that's an unrealistic expectation. That's what we're talking about
It
tonight.
is.
Unrealistic expectations.
And then to counter that, you fix yourself up so that men will look at you and give you compliments. All of that.
Well, and by the same token, Dr. Wilson, listen, my eyes work fine. If I see somebody and look, I'm not gonna just close my eyes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And so those
So
are unrealistic expectations. You got to see
unrealistic expectations that you're not going to look, if somebody go
them.
by or whatever. Really, you could turn it into a joke. You see what I'm saying? Depending on the two of your relationship. It's like,
Well, if it happens too many times, it stops being a joke and it
well, I
starts
know
being
you're right.
funny.
One or two times, okay. How about this? There's some people who think marriage will fix all our problems. And the example I put here is a couple with trust issues already believes getting married would automatically fix their insecurities and past conflicts. Or you got some that believe, oh, if we just have a baby, it will bring us
Yeah,
closer.
yeah.
Unrealistic expectations.
Having a baby will not bring you closer.
That's it. That's it.
It will not, because that's a third person in the relationship that demands attention.
Got to have attention.
And a lot of women will give the attention to the baby and act like they're not married and their husband is not there because the baby needs them. I've seen that happen too many times.
Okay. Okay. What do y'all think about that? Um, I see someone says glancing and staring are two different things.
It is.
I'm just gonna do a glance, Ophir, then I'm gonna look back. I'm not gonna stare to the point where I'm gonna trip over something if I'm walking along. I agree, definitely. But all seriousness, I believe a lot of couples don't have enough humor and
Oh,
fun, you
yes.
know, in their even in the courtship, let alone in
Yes.
the marriage. What happened? Somebody help me understand this. What happened when you turned 21? Did you stop playing?
A lot of people did.
I mean, do you
Uh,
think you too grown to play, too serious to play? I don't understand. I ask rather, where is the play?
well, a lot of us take making a living and running the house and outside pressures so seriously that we do lose our sense of humor. I remember in one of my marriages, near the end of it, I looked in the mirror at myself and I couldn't remember when I last laughed.
Wow.
And I didn't really recognize myself. And I made a vow to me that I would never be in that situation again.
You couldn't even remember the last time you
When
had
I
laughed?
laughed, absolutely. It
Wow.
was just that tense and just that traumatic for months. And so finally, when that was over, I decided I needed to work on me and get me together. And that's what I did. So I didn't depend on anybody else to cause me to laugh
There you
or to
go.
enjoy. I would find pleasure in the things that were around me and the people that were around me. And I kept my laughter intact. And now I focus on it. They call me sunshine and joy.
All right. And that's it. I put my arms out when I'm doing a class and I said, listen, in life, we must have a healthy balance. You
Yes,
know, if you're all work and no play, you're out of balance. If you
absolutely.
all play and no work,
Yeah,
you're
out
out
of
of balance,
balance.
right? So
Yeah,
creating that healthy balance, you need work, you need play, you need rest, you need adventure, you need excitement, you need
yeah,
mystery. You see, all of those things that we have within us, you see.
yeah,
Yeah, we got to have a healthy balance. Cheryl says it starts with lack of communication. That's it. We
yeah.
talked a good bit about that last week. People, listen, I don't believe we're born with every tool that we need,
Would
but
not.
but but there's so much out here now that we can acquire tools that we need. Okay. A mechanic, listen, when he opens a shop, he doesn't have every tool that he needs to work on cars, you know, and he's going to, not comparing women and men to cars, but you've got to get certain wrenches and certain tools to work on certain vehicles.
Yes.
You see? So I tell people every woman, every female is not, they're not just alike because they're females, okay?
Yeah, that's true. We're
They're
individuals.
different.
Hmm.
So you've got to learn the tools that you need, you see, so that you can help cultivate and work, on her and nourish and everything, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I use that analogy sometime. You got to make sure, listen, you got to have more tools in your toolbox, okay? I would
Yes.
say it like that. um, see, Christine says he can look at other women because I love looking at a handsome man. Just keep it classic, okay? Keep
Yeah.
it classic, okay? Yeah, but some of these unrealistic expectations, if we're not careful, they will destroy what could be a good relationship.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
and I think a lot of them stem from two big words, jealousy and insecurities,
Yes.
a lot of times, you know,
Yes.
as well.
And the
So,
Bible speaks of my people perish for a lack of knowledge. We don't know enough about the difference between males and females and our purposes and how we are to come together. We don't study that. I look at women all the time and they want to get married. I say, well, how many male friends do you have? You just hang out and kick it and get to know them. And they don't have that. Well, how you gonna get to know how to treat your man when you get him if you don't have a relationship with men and learn how to treat them and learn what the differences are and accept them? He ought to be like me. No, he can't. God didn't design him to be like you. He designed him to be a man.
or have had some healthy models in your life. A lot of people like to talk about mentors. Nothing wrong with that, but I like to ascribe to models. Someone who has
Yes.
modeled, being, I'm going to say, a very present, um, mm, romantic, if you want to use that word, thinking, you know. Uh, husband, and vice versa, someone who's been that as a wife as well, and you've seen the journey, you've seen some of the things,
Hmm.
and so you they have been a good model for that, and so many people haven't had that,
No, that's true.
and and I'm not trying to excuse it or make light of it, but listen, there are so many movies out there now, that you can pull some little snippets from, some little pop ups from movies. You know, you can Google certain things, you can read, So, what I'm saying, there's really no excuse.
There isn't, but we want something to blame for our bad behavior. And so we point the finger there. But I mean, today, YouTube, Facebook have people on it just like we are here tonight talking about relationships and really getting down and giving some great information based on the word of God. So there's really, if you search for it, I know, and I think I mentioned last week, I spent my grocery money on books that was teaching me about relationships, about dating, about myself, as well as reading my Bible and learning about God. So there's no excuses. Plenty as a wealth, a plethora of information to help you learn how to relate to yourself, to God, and to a mate.
Bingo, bingo, bingo. But as we're talking about unrealistic expectations tonight, and to expect that getting married will fix all of your problems that you have
Mhm.
if you're courting or dating, or if you already have issues, um, getting married or having a baby will not fix those issues.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Uh, I think we got time for one more of these. True love means never needing space or time apart.
Ooh, ooh. No, no, you that should be built into your relationship. But we are so insecure in our relationships, we feel like when they're not with us, they're with somebody else.
Wow.
And that's not necessarily true.
Oh,
I used
no.
to encourage my husband. He had friends. Now, I was really afraid when I first got married about nights out with the boys until I learned the value of male relationships with males. And I used to encourage him to go to they called it an accountability group. And
Okay.
they would go, and what the purpose of the group and them coming together was so they would be better husbands and fathers and better men and better Christian men. And so once that was demonstrated and you could see it happening in our relationship, it was like, baby, go. By all means, go.
Yeah. And that's it. Joining a group and knowing what the objective of that group is.
Yes. And
If you're
seeing it
unified,
benefit.
there you go. You've got
Mhm.
objective for the group. That's a good thing. Now, I will tell you, they probably not listening tonight, but they might watch the live later. But a couple that I worked with years and years ago in Huntsville,
Mhm.
uh, the husband couldn't understand why he couldn't still go to Hooters every Tuesday night
Oh
with the
no,
single
not
guys.
Hooters.
You understand? I mean, he was serious as a heart attack. He couldn't wrap his brain around that. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So another unrealistic expectation.
Yes.
I talked about once you uh, uh, get married, there's some things that I'm going to say, I don't want to use must as a strong word, but you have to be willing to adjust and
Yes.
change.
Yes.
And I just thought that was definitely a deal breaker. And eventually it was a deal breaker.
Yes. Yes.
So good to see you tonight. I see Cheryl Mungin. Good to see you tonight. We're just talking about unrealistic expectation in relationships. Um, an example of true love means never needing space or time apart is a partner feels hurt when their spouse wants to go on a solo weekend or
Mm.
time to recharge, mistaking it as rejection instead of a healthy need for personal time.
Time. Yeah.
You see? Yeah. So we do. We need a little bit of personal time, even if you're in the house sometimes, you just
Yeah.
need a little bit of space. And so you might resort or resolve to going into another space. And I think it's a good thing uh, that men have man caves. Just like women who have different hobbies, she might have a sewing room, you
Mm.
see, or she might have an art room, a place that she does art like you used to do.
Mhm.
So again, having hobbies, people who don't have hobbies, in my own opinion, a lot of times they don't have a healthy balance.
That's
Uh, I say it like this. I tell my couples, I say, your boo can't be your hobby. Your husband or your wife can't be your hobby.
yeah.
Yeah. And you need to be able to, um, yeah, uh, swing back and forth, change. Change is good. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, all right. I think my Facebook audience is going to sleep on us tonight. I don't see any other comments. Maybe they just listening and taking it all in. But yeah, the unrealistic expectations in relationships can lead to disappointment and resentment. Okay.
Yes.
And we already talked about expecting your partner to change. You can't change your partner, and expecting them to do so can lead to resentment. You see,
Yes.
um,
And
expecting
hostility.
Yes, yes, it definitely can.
Hmm.
Expecting your partner to read your mind. I think you talked about that earlier.
Hmm.
It's impossible for me to read someone else's mind, and it's impossible for someone to read my mind. Now I will tell you this though, after you've been with a person for a period of time and they're really in tune with you, I've known people to be able to finish each other's sentences,
Yes.
and
Yes.
things like that. But those people, like I said, those partners are so in tune to you and they pay attention to you, you see. So I call that the yin and the yang. And that's wonderful when you can get that. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
That is.
Yeah. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's a great flow. But expecting perfection, that's an unrealistic expectation
Yes.
because no, none of us are perfect. You see, no one is perfect. Um, so, um, expecting your partner to react the same way you do about something. How about that?
That's unrealistic too.
It's unrealistic.
Hmm.
Isn't that something? I mean, because there are some things that will probably unnerve me, and listen, this person that's relaxing over here, you know what I mean? It probably don't even cause them
Faith.
to nudge at all. It doesn't phase them at all. So for me to get upset about that, that makes no sense. But we know things like that happen as well. Um, One of the things too, I noticed, and I'm gonna say it like this: even in a meeting or something like that, I've known one partner to get upset with the other one when they didn't vote the way that they did.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that something? So they say, by show of hands, all for this, raise your hand. Okay. And one of them raised a hand and the other one didn't.
Mm.
They didn't make a big scene there, but when they got home, I can't believe you voted against me. And yeah, what? I didn't vote against you. I just voted my conscience, what I believe. So the unrealistic expectations and the things that people really get upset about, and I want to say again, I believe sometimes it causes hiccups and even breakups for people who could otherwise have, you know, a chance at a healthy relationship. You see,
Yes.
yeah. So I see overseer say so true. Okay. But communicating openly and honestly, and then you create that space, okay, like you said, Dr. Wilson, to discuss your feelings and your concerns.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
at the end of the day, my concerns are valid and your concerns are
Concerns are
valid.
valid. Yes.
My feelings are valid and yours are too. But if
Yes.
we don't ever talk about it, you see,
Yes.
yeah, because I believe one of the most disrespectful things that anyone can do is dismiss another person's feelings. If I tell you how I feel, don't come and say, well, I don't know why you feel like that. The thing to do is, okay, try to help me understand why you feel like that.
Yes.
And I see that with parents and children, and I also see it in relationships. And so we want to validate each other's feelings.
Yes.
Um, well, Overseer Hall, how do we help people understand that they need to take time with each other? Everybody's hustle and bustle and running now. That's one of the things people say, I don't have time. I don't
Mhm.
have time. You know, I don't buy it because you had time to pick up the phone and call when we were dating. You had time, to try to take me out to eat when we were dating, right? We had time then. But soon as you say I do, a lot of people they got to get it now. They just don't have time. And
Yes.
and and I believe that's what causes room for the enemy to come in.
It is.
You start instead of growing together, not having time, what is that doing? That's putting a wedge in between the two of you, right?
Absolutely.
So I tell people, you can't have time. You just have to make time.
Yes. We all have 24 hours and we have a decision to make about how we're going to spend it.
That's it. That's
Mhm.
it. You said it, Cheryl. You have to make it a priority. And
Mm.
look, I ain't talking about nobody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. When you are a priority, you will know it. And when you're not, you will know it.
Know it. Absolutely.
That pendulum swing both ways. Like I said, there's somebody out there that holds the ace of spades for all of us. They got our number.
Yes.
When he show up, that ace trumps everything and everybody else.
Absolutely.
I see Cheryl Margin say yes, amen. I'm serious as I can be, but everybody that know me, I'm going to use humor. That's just a part of my personality and who I am. But unrealistic expectations, they are wreaking havoc, in relationships, courtships, and marriages all across I'm gonna say all across the US,
Hmm.
and I'm sure in some of the other countries as well. Uh, is there an understanding when a partner is DL? If so, what and how? Well, if I understand that acronym now, I don't know about understanding, but I think we need to talk about it so we can get an understanding. I will say it like this: that might work for uh, some relationship, and then other relationships that won't work. It's time for us to just
Yeah.
time to go your separate ways. There again, no judgment. I mean, we living in a time now where um, an unrealistic expectation is if you're a swinger, let's just drive it home. You expect me to be a swinger too when I
Good.
get with you.
Yeah.
You see, or you expect me if you come in and tell me, you know, uh, that you are DL, that I might be okay with that. You see,
Yeah.
and some people are. So, what how they say it back in the day? Different strokes for different
Different
folks.
folk. Yeah.
But I think we have to be realistic about that as well.
Well, it depends too if the person who is living that lifestyle, the DL lifestyle, trusts their partner enough to expose themselves to the partner in that area or not. They may be on the DL with the partner. And so, what do? You're being deceitful in that case.
Right.
But you're being deceitful to protect yourself and your lifestyle and your desires. So, somewhere, something's got to give. Then, if the partner finds out on accident you didn't tell them, that's division again.
Yeah. Well, because I'll just be transparent and talk about me. If you tell me something, then that gives me a choice on whether I want to accept and go along with it or not.
Absolutely.
But if you don't tell me and then I stumble up on it or I
Hmm.
find out about it, then I'm wondering what else
Have you
you
done?
haven't told me. You see what
Hmm.
I'm saying? When you uncover lies, you know what I'm saying? Listen, you know. Let's see what the audience is saying here tonight. Understand they're not interested in you. That you're exactly right. If someone, you know, doesn't have time to text you, doesn't have time to call you, always busy. Oh
Hmm.
yeah, I saw it. I was gonna get back to you, baby. He ain't interested in you. She not interested in you for real, because someone that's interested in getting to know you, you are going to become a priority. Matter of fact, if you're not careful, they're gonna get on your nerve because you're gonna think they calling you too much and texting you too much. You see, if it's somebody that's truly interested and want to get to know you,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Um, Someone says, I think the deal will show itself. That's hard to hide. Mannerisms are important. They are, but sometimes overseers, some people just don't pay attention. They miss the telltale signs,
Or they don't want to see it.
or they don't want to see it. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Um, a good movie, I don't know if you've ever seen The Cover. It's a movie called Cover. Oh my, that will open your eyes right there. And there's some people who are in my opinion, just not ready to come forth yet, because of whatever reason,
That's
family members or their job or, what
mhm.
have you. So it's still a lot of that going on out there. That's it. Don't ignore the warning signs. But so many people do. I mean, you
Yeah.
get blatant stop signs, just the light just blinking red, but you don't stop. You see? You
Yeah.
just run right past that. Oh, but he's so wonderful in all other areas. That one little thing. Or yeah, that's not a deal breaker for me. She will be able to work that out. You see? And then 3 to 6 months into that marriage or whatever, that thing start getting on your last nerve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to say it like this. I think each and every one of us have at least one or two non-negotiables, right?
Yeah. I'm sure.
Non-negotiables. And you need to know what those are, you
Yeah.
know. Uh, so uh, I don't know. Uh, I ain't talking about nobody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. Swinging ain't it for me. That's a non-negotiable. So, and the reason I'm saying that because there's a lot of people who are doing that now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Um, Listen, Pastor Hall, I deal with folk who don't know nothing about protection. You hear me?
I
I
don't want it.
they don't want it. They you know listen, they not worried about being protected from the possibility of getting pregnant again if you're in the childbearing years, and you got so many that are not concerned about trying to protect themselves from STDs. you know
That's true.
there again, I and other people who will hear this, we work in that population, and I said, what are you thinking?
They're not thinking.
They're not thinking. So you're right. I mean, if you go in Walgreens, Walmart, any place, I mean, there's a whole line, a whole lane, a whole aisle, you know what I'm saying? Of
Yes.
all kind of protection. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, they're just not using it. They're just not using it. Um, I hear people say, well, I go get tested every 3 months, so I'm good. I'm like, what? You do what? I just say that, I'm not oblivious to it, but I just say, okay, you do. So, I mean, it's like it becomes a routine for some people. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Well, I'm going to tell y'all in a minute. One person says a partner is in denial. Now you are in denial. Okay. Yeah, you're right. They don't care. And yeah, I think about at least 5 years ago, I think, I can be transparent. We all adults, I went to my gynecologist and I had, I guess what they call it, like a UTI or something like that. And so she asked me something. I said, wait, I said, no, no, no. Because she didn't tell me that's what it was at first.
Mhm.
And I said, now, wait, I said, my husband been dead a long time. Do I need to go dig him up? And she said this to me. She said, people don't know a STD can lie dormant for up to 30 years in your
Oh my
body.
God.
Now I didn't have one, but that's what she said. I had a UTI. Let me tell you, that thing sent my antennas up.
Mhm.
Did y'all hear what I just said? 30
30 years.
years. So you go and get tested every 3 months. What that doing? If you got something that's dormant.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we got off on all of that, but you know, it's an unrealistic expectation to think that someone else is going to look out for your safety
Yes. And your well-being. No.
and your well-being.
Mhm.
I mean, the songwriter said back in the day, everybody plays a fool sometime. But time and maturity and wisdom, you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
We've got to think. We've got to think, because this day and time, it's a matter of what? Life
Or
and
death.
death.
Hmm.
It's like Russian roulette. You
It
keep
is.
doing unhealthy practices, you see what I'm saying? And not protecting yourself. Eventually, somebody's going to get that bullet,
Yeah.
that STD bullet, right?
Yes.
So, um, when you're married, you shouldn't have to worry about protection. Well, you shouldn't have to worry about it, and you don't, as long as you know your partner and what have you. But I tell you, there are so many unhealthy relationships, and we could just keep it real. A lot of people are not as into each other as they
Is it?
should be and like to be, and there's a lot of people who are experiencing um, an STD that their partner brought home to them.
Yes.
Okay, because there are certain things, as you know, I'm not medical, but I work in that arena, as a sexologist. So uh, if a doctor tells you a couple of particular infections that you have, the only way you get them is if somebody has another partner,
Yes.
you see. And so you can say I all you want to, and I know I haven't been anywhere, so one of us
Yeah.
did. You know what I mean? And so you're exactly right um, on that. You shouldn't have to worry about protection when you are married. And being transparent when I know some couples are going through whatever they're going through, and they're still sexually active and they know somebody else is unfaithful and whatever. I asked him or her, are you using protection at home? And they like, well, no, we still married. I'm like, okay. I just raise my eyebrows and say, okay.
Well, that also depends on if you're a childbearing age and if you want children. I know in my marriage relationships, when I was of childbearing age, yes, we used protection because I didn't want babies and he didn't either. So we had to, or work
Yeah.
out a system with the calendar and the rhythm method, which is so old fashioned, but it,
Not the rhythm method. I think I'm gonna drink a swallow water on that one.
you don't hear
Let my
anybody
throat get
talking
dry.
about that anymore.
Chris says that's when you sit down and no fooling time. It's on like popcorn when an STD comes through the door. Yeah, I tell you. But
Yeah.
it's happening, y'all, every day. These topics I'm talking about is happening every day. Um, there's a can't think of the name of the documentary right now, but this is what these sisters say. Okay, AIDS came home and got into bed with me.
Mm,
I have never gone anywhere. You
mm,
see?
yeah.
Now here we are. You see? Um, I worked at for Department of, and I can tell you some stories. And that's it. Tell you a bunch of stories about married people. That's exactly right. You
Hmm.
see, no judgment zone. We're just talking about realities of what's happening and issues that a lot of people don't want to talk about and they are in denial about. You
Yeah.
see?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Or the expectation is that can't happen to me. That's
Yeah.
unrealistic.
Yes, it is unrealistic, isn't it? Yeah. So, all I know is when I'm going to say when the fire has totally gone out with a couple, okay? Unless he or she is dead, most of the time, if you don't actually physically go out there looking for someone to stoke your fire, you're looking for something virtual, you see.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, what I see is virtual affairs eventually turn into, yeah, physical affairs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, um, retired from public health, and it is serious. Talk about it, Cheryl. It is serious.
Hmm.
Every day, all day. Even here, in Jefferson County. People are not just going in the health department to pick up a birth certificate. It's flooded every day. And like I said, no judgment, but so many people just make it a routine of going every 2 or 3 months to get tested, every 2 or 3 months to get tested, And I'm like, wow. So,
Yeah.
but unrealistic expectations, you can't expect someone else. I can't expect someone else to protect me,
Yeah. That's true.
you see. And so I believe we need to take the responsibility to make sure that we're protected. Now, we'll tell you what the young girls say. Maybe not all of them, but some of them say if guys find out that uh, they have a condom just in case,
Hmm.
uh, they label her.
Hmm.
So they said we can't do that. We can't carry no condom. He think we are blank. I'm like,
Oh,
really? But he can carry them, and he don't think he a blank. I said, what are y'all talking about? I'm telling you, I talk to young girls because I ask them. I said, do you make sure you have, protection or whatever? Uh, no. Wow. Because the guys will feel like they have it because they're using it all the time. You see what I'm saying? And
yeah.
I'm using strategic words, but you
Yes.
see what I'm saying? But guys, that's a part of a lot of guys' wallet, isn't it? Or their glove compartment. I mean, if he's safe.
It used to be.
Oh, it used to be. Okay. And you don't think it's something, he don't think it's anything wrong with that. He don't think I'm gonna think he's just out there too. See, there are these double standards. And
Always have been.
and girls are kind of afraid to protect themselves. Women, I'm going to say, it's not just young girls now, because Cheryl can attest to this and probably oversee a hall too. The largest number of STDs right now is among seniors.
Yes. I was shocked to find that out.
Well, they got happy with a little blue pill and some other stuff, and they done lost their mind. You know what I'm saying? But so, yeah, everybody in the nursing home ain't sleep.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it like that. And yeah, you're right, childish behavior, but that's what happens. Like I said, if we're gonna um, be adults, then we got to start adulting. We got to put away the childish stuff. He says they are free at the health department and sometimes come with a nice carry case. I know, but and some people are embarrassed to go get them or whatever. When I used to travel, when I was over in Anniston, I partnered with a company. I can't remember the name of it now, but I had a whole when I went to Mouse College and some other schools and some other organizations or whatever, I had a whole suitcase full of condoms, female condoms, dental dams, and all kind of material and everything. They didn't
Mhm.
have a problem. My table was clean when I left. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, someone says this is bigger than STDs. It is. It's much bigger than that. But if we could just drive that point home and help them uh, begin to understand that that's important. It is. It's much bigger than that.
Yes, it is.
You see, because not only does it affect our lives, it affects everyone's life around us that we're involved in. You see, so it is. It's much bigger than STD. It's a mindset. You see, it's your belief system. It's
Yeah.
it's a whole gamut of things. Overseer Hall, and you're really right. You're right. Yeah. Um, I see Cheryl say you're so right. Seniors are on the move. That I forgot you retired from health. That's it. Seniors on the move. They ain't playing. You think they rolling in that little going down to have dinner and play bingo if you want to. Yes, the emotional toll is tremendous. It
It
is.
is.
You know, It is. So listen, y'all, we could talk about this subject for 2 or 3 hours and get more people involved in whatever. But thank you all so much tonight for tuning in, and those of you who will watch the replay. We're having a little fun, but we're serious, okay?
Yes.
We're talking about unrealistic expectations in your relationships, in your marriage. You see, and check your pulse, see if you how you working with unrealistic expectations. Okay,
Expectations. Yes.
check your own pulse. You see, and then listen as you have more conversations about this. Someone says just making it real and telling the truth. The young men try to shame the young ladies. Yeah, yep. That I'm sure some of them do. You see, but again, at the end of the day, you got to learn that no one is responsible for your safety and your protection. You see,
But you.
uh, in that. So do you have one more unrealistic expectation or one more comment, Dr. Wilson, before we end?
Well, I know this. There are many women praying for a husband and they stay at home. They don't go out any place but church. I remember when I was a single mom and my daughter said, "Well, mama, how you gonna meet a man and you don't go nowhere but to church and to work?" And when I met my second husband, I told him I had been praying for a man, praying for a husband, praying for a husband. And he said, "Well, what did you expect? God just drop you a man out the sky?" Well, I met him at the airport. So I reminded him, I met you at the airport, didn't I? God answered my prayers. But that doesn't always work. You got to get out there and be seen and be where the men are so that you can meet them. You can't meet
So,
them in
so,
your house.
so that's a good question. Where are they?
Where
Where
are
they,
the men?
where should women go? Or I mean, do we stand a chance of meeting somebody in Home Depot or at the Walmart or at the Sam's, or where are we going to meet them at? I'm just asking.
All those places, I would say the
Okay.
times I met my husbands at events.
Okay. Events.
Yeah, at events, social events.
Okay.
Um, so you got to get out there and you got to be attractive and you got to have an atmosphere about yourself that's welcoming. You can't be sitting up with your arms all folded and looking all grumpy. Uh,
Okay.
all of that helps, but yeah, you can't just go home and go to work, go to bed, go to church, go home, go to work, go to bed, go to church.
Unless the UPS or the FedEx deliverer happen to see you going in the house one day, and he's the one.
That might happen.
This is a great question here. Thank you. Listen, Dr. Wilson,
Uh-huh.
how do you feel about a woman approaching a man she likes?
Huh. I did
Talk
it all the
wisdom.
time. How you think I got married 4 times?
Say that again. I was
I
interrupted. I'm
did
sorry.
it. I did it all the time. How do you think I got married 4 times? If you see someone that you like and they seem to be, or just put yourself where they can see you, start a conversation, a loose, unserious conversation, get their attention and see what happens. But if you don't open your mouth, he'll never know.
Because I will tell you what I've discovered too, Overseer Hall. There's some shy, reserved men out there,
Absolutely.
and they will see somebody they like. And I talk to men that say that, well, I don't know how to approach her. I don't know what to say,
Hmm.
And me being a coach or whatever, I said, well, would you like for me to give you some pointers or some suggestions, and some
Hmm.
things to try? There's some men who are reserved too, and they welcome a woman, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
striking up a conversation, and
Yes.
then you'll be able to tell if he's interested in you. You see,
Absolutely.
from the time, the tone in which he uses, and how he respond, and all of that.
Hmm.
So, okay, uh, do you tell him? I don't know if you tell him you like him right off. I believe you just strike up a conversation, depending
Yeah.
on where you are. Just say, for instance, if you happen to be in Lowe's, I go to Lowe's because I'm a widow and I pick up stuff, and if
Hmm.
it's someone in there, um, you know, I'm going to say possibly if it's someone that looks okay or whatever. I've looked and I see if he has a ring on. I look, and a
Hmm.
lot of times that don't, because some separate guys and some widows, they still wear their ring. I still wear mine.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you just strike up a conversation, or you ask them to get something off of a shelf for you. I've heard women say that in the grocery store, like,
Yeah.
hey, can you, get something for me off the shelf? And then, thank you very much. And sometimes the conversation will go from there. Well, what you gonna
Right.
cook? And how you like this? And da 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 da. You
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
or so it could go like that. Uh, Different opening lines. I think it has to do with the setting and the atmosphere and where you are.
Absolutely.
you know uh it's like, I don't want to compare it to being a salesperson, but I've been in and out of sales a good bit of my life. So when I used to do insurance sales door to door back in the day, when I walked up in a yard to a home, if she had a lot of flowers in the yard, or if there were kids about a certain age, grandkids toys, I knew what I could talk to whoever answered the door about. I said,
Hmm.
wow, your flowers are gorgeous. How do you keep your flowers? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Growing and looking so pretty. Or, man, you must have a lot of grandkids. I see you got about 10 bikes over there. So, depending on, I'm going to say, Dr. Overseer, what you say, Dr. Wilson, depending on the environment, that's how you would strike
Depends
up a
on the
conversation.
environment, but you can't let fear stop you.
Mm-mm.
You've got to, like you say, be a salesman. You don't have to be out of line, but just friendly and
Right.
nice. And you have to be willing to. I think I told the story last time about approaching my husband about the ribs that were on his plate. And I didn't know who he was or whose ribs it was, but I wanted it and I asked for it and I got it. And he called me a brazen hussy, but he married me.
Isn't that something? But yeah, that well, sometimes, don't it's hard to say not to let your feelings get involved. But remember, he's a stranger. You don't know him, and
Yeah, you don't know how
he
he's
don't know
gonna act.
you right off. So you really just gonna see if he's going to speak back to you, or if he's going to respond. You see,
Yes.
because I, yeah,
And then have your exit plan already made in your mind. What you
there you
gonna do?
go. Like, okay. I mean, because he could be rude and not offer to get anything down, or he could say, well, don't they have people working in here? And you can tell
Mhm.
you right there that he's not interested. So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, keep it moving.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Have you seen one?
Yeah. Does that make sense? So, yeah. And if it's someone who you have talked to for a minute, that's my son. I'll call him back. I'm sure I know why he's calling. Uh, but if you've talked to him for a minute and he appeared to be interested at first, but then that kind of wanes off, you'll be able to tell as well.
Yes.
You'll be able to tell. So yeah, we're gonna talk about some of those things too. Excellent questions. I thank y'all so much. Some opening lines, and um, how to not let your emotions and feelings get involved right off the bat. You know,
Yeah.
just wait and see how his conversation is going, or if you're a guy, how her conversation is going. Because I will tell you, rejection is a monster now.
It
It'll
is.
knock some wind out of your sail. You see,
Yes.
if you take it as a form of someone rejecting you.
Yeah.
No, listen, he just missing his prize. I just wasn't his prize. It's okay. Next, you
He
know,
just wasn't your prize.
there you go. But I'm the prize. See, that's what
Yeah.
people don't understand. Men are the gift. Adam didn't know he needed a woman. He was happy as a cat in a field of rats. God said, you need a helpmate, boy.
Uh-huh.
So
And
he
he did.
made her and brought her and gave her to him as a gift. So
Yes.
we are the gift.
Yes, we are.
We're the gift. Yeah. So listen, we can talk. I know you all got to go to bed. I thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. I'm loving it. In a couple of weeks, I got a newlywed couple that's going to come on and they're going to share with us their journey and what made them know that, hey, we want to be married. We just don't want to be girlfriend and boyfriend, you know? And
Yes.
so I'm hoping for more and more of that, you know, because I believe in marriage. I really do. Uh, yeah. I'm going to stick with that. So, any parting words tonight, Dr. Wilson? Thank all of you for joining tonight and hanging in here. I hope you all get a good night's rest. All of those on Facebook Live. And again, share it with some other folk. Tell them we're just having fun and they're welcome to join in. We're serious, but we're going to enjoy what we're doing. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Dr. Wilson.
Well, I really appreciate this opportunity, and I look forward to the words that we have spoken bearing fruit in the lives of the people who heard them.
Awesome. 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 Again, thank y'all for hanging in there so much. You all have a glorious rest of your week, a great weekend, and stay tuned. Lord
Yeah.
willing, we'll see you on next Thursday night at 9. Have
God
a good
bless.
night. All
Have
right.
a good night. Bye bye.
Good night.